Welcome to Nexus Edge, the show that will help you get an edge on your competition. I'm your esteemed host, Turd Herder, and today I'm joined again by my stupendous panel. Starting at the top, we have Whoa No.
How's it going, Turd?
Pretty good, thank you for asking. We have our other regular panelist, Ziltoid.
Hello, guys and gals.
There you are. And for this edition of Nexus Edge, we've been joined by an extra special guest, VuDu.
Hey there. Thanks for having me, guys.
Thank you. Thank you for joining us. We really appreciate it. And let's get right into the introduction of you. We like to ask about our guest panelist, so that the viewers can get a little bit of a background on you. So you were one of the co-founders of NGS. So
Correct.
What was that like?
It was a few of us trying to get some more organized gameplay going, I guess. I'd already been playing HOT since the beta, and I don't know, I saw there was room and there was a need for it, like just based on people I talked to that play the game, that they kind of wanted something like this. I didn't even know at the time that Cherry League existed, but it turns out it did, and there was already a lot of people playing that. But the timing that when we actually started NGS was pretty much perfect, because they had made some changes to their scheduling, as well as I think they had introduced, I don't know, I won't get into it, but a lot of people weren't happy with Cherry League at that time, so they were looking for something else. So it just happened to be perfect timing for us. We got a lot of ex-Cherry League teams to come help us kind of found the league, give us ideas what to do, what not to do. So it kind of made this first season somewhat of a success. We had 27 teams, I think.
Oh wow!
In the first season, so
I was on one of those teams.
Ziltoid was on one of them, yeah.
There you go.
And like I said, I can fill you in about the Cherry League issue, where they basically had it where it was like a weird kind of setup for scheduling. And my biggest issue with it was best of one matches, which was like, what the heck? That's not competitive at all. But you could elect if both teams agreed to play best of threes. So it was just the structure just seemed a little weird. And then I think after the fact, actually, I just remembered this too as well. They started doing it where they wanted people to pay for the season to go through. And I think that was actually the big catalyst that actually drove everything out, was actually the fact that they started asking for like a $25 like entrance fee or something like that from all the teams.
That's definitely pretty interesting. And I think nowadays, NGS obviously is completely free. And, it definitely puts a light on, the best of three that we have going on right now. So that's pretty cool. VuDu, what are you doing nowadays?
Just being a chiropractor, just cracking backs, cashing checks.
There you go.
No,
Literally snapping necks and cashing checks.
Yeah.
No. In terms of HOTS or NGS or what?
Yeah, in terms of NGS.
Okay.
For both, yeah.
In terms of HOTS, I play, I don't know, probably 2 or 3 nights a week, just kind of hop on for a couple hours. More casual now. This season I am subbing for the Nexus Cats in Division D. Oh, no, lie.
Nope.
Nexus Turds.
There you go.
Which is a subsidiary team of the Nexus Cats, which I'm sure you're well aware of. But
I am.
I think just because I've kind of dialed back how much I've been playing the past few months, that Div D is probably a good spot for me right now, and just being a sub is good. So
we have a lot of fun in Div D, which is important.
Mm-hmm.
What role do you normally play?
I mean, traditionally support, because everybody forces you to play support when nobody else wants to.
That's how I got my start as a support.
Yeah, right, exactly. And then you just kind of keep going from there. But I do like playing mages and some other range DPS as well, quite a bit. So
there we go. All right. So before we get on to the meat and potatoes of the cast, I want to give a quick shout out to Calculated Smash League. They are an online amateur Super Smash Brothers Ultimate League. It's run by Mystic of Calculated Throw over in Division C. We're going to have a link to their Discord down below, so if you're interested in joining, you'll have a couple days to sign up after this airs. The signups are going to close on March 15th, and they're going to stay open till March 25th. If that's anything you guys are interested in, why don't you go ahead and take a look and join the league. So, and before we move on, I want to give a quick shout out to our NGS content creator extraordinaire, Ghost Dunk. He's come out with a article called "What Statistics and Machine Learning Can Teach Us About the Gameplay Changes in Heroes of the Storm." It's all about XP changes, the most recent ones, what's changed since 2017, what's changed from 2018. It is quite a piece of masterwork. It is incredible. Have any of you guys taken a look at it?
Yeah, I haven't quite finished reading it, and honestly, to call it just an article is almost doing it a disservice. That man wrote us a freaking thesis on XP changes, MMR. There's so many just things that Ghost Dunk analyzes in that article. It's really impressive. It's such a labor of love from him to us, and like I said, I haven't quite finished it. I'm still working my way through it, but really anyone who is interested in Heroes of the Storm, the XP changes, how the game's progressed over the last couple of years, I couldn't recommend it enough.
Absolutely. Ziltoid, have you taken a look at it?
Not yet, no. Haven't had quite the time to sit down and give it a look, but I'm sure I will. I definitely did read the Blizzard AMA, and I saw it referenced by them and the response from Blizzard, so I just haven't quite caught up on the actual, what the article has to say yet. So
yeah, and Blizzard actually said that they're going to give kind of like a long-form response. So they basically just said, yes, we're looking at this, and we'll talk to you later about it. So that's really cool. Props to a community member, Ghost Dunk, for taking what I assume is tremendous amounts of time, and this is fantastic. Really take a look if you guys have a chance. So great work, Ghost Dunk, and shout out to you, brother.
Hey, Ghost Dunk.
Alrighty, now moving on. Let's talk about Heroes of the Storm this week for us. Start us out, VuDu. What do you got?
The old Nexus turds, brand new to the NGS scene, had a good old start. Big forfeit to start the season off. But we're regrouping. We're playing tomorrow, which is going to be past tense now. Saturday the 9th, we're playing. So I'm on call for that game. Hopefully no emergencies happen where we have to forfeit again, but it looks like we're going to play our first match. So
yeah,
pretty pumped for that.
I'm pretty excited. I'm pretty proud. If I have time, I'm going to try and cast it. So I'm really looking forward to watching them. I hope they do good stuff. I'm impressed so far with what I've seen. You guys had a practice this week, right?
That is correct. I was not in attendance, but I was supporting in spirit is what
there
I
you
like
go.
So, yeah,
it's the support. So
yeah. Well, it's a life of a sub, It's a lot of sitting around reading chats, but
No, I hear you. I'm also a sports sub. I do know that I think they scrimmed the Nexus Cats, so taking advantage of that subsidiary relationship. But enough against Nexus Cats, Nexus Turds. Logical decision, boys. What do you got for us?
Zill, you want to take it?
I don't even know who we're playing this week.
I meant
Go ahead.
What about last week?
Last week, well, we played.
Your captain's right here, man.
So that's.
I can't hear anything. Can't see anything.
Not important for me.
He's killing it.
Yeah. Well, hey, comic relief. That's why I'm here. Totally. Look at the space.
Yeah, I'll go. I got this one.
Thank you. That was
Logical
killing time.
decision. Got a 2-0. Our first domination win this week against the boys at Scorpius Eternum. Feeling strong, feeling good. Puts us at 2 wins and 1 loss so far in the season. And next week, Ziltoid, for your information, we are playing Soak Every Lane.
There you go.
A couple of our other behind-the-scenes analyst friends involved in that team there.
There you go. Nexus Cats also had a game this week. They did excellent. I was sitting on the sidelines with my pom-poms cheering them on. I was in chat. Yeah, just typing hype as much as I could. It was a lot of fun. I thought they played really well. I'm biased, but I thought they did really well, and I really think they're going to do well. So
I would like to add that, my expert analysis coming in.
that's why you're here.
It is why I'm here. But I will say that the macro play from Nexus Cats has been doing them a lot of favors. If you watch their games, especially if you're in Div D, there's a lot of things you can learn from kind of how they manage their lanes, their camp priorities, kind of the patience shown in the games. It actually shows through, and it's a big reason why that they've been able to beat their opponents the last couple weeks.
Very nice. All right, now moving on. Let's discuss some other teams around the league. So we have several undefeated teams still in the league.
So we'll start with Heroic. Celeb Gaming.
There you go.
For sure comes out with another 2-0 this week. I think versus Running Places, which isn't kind of updated on the website, which is why Revive Esports is the one showing the most points at the moment. Revive also beat their opponents this week, and then Abusement Park picked up another 2-0. Insomnia and Moto are 1-1 after 2 weeks. So, and then the other three teams right now haven't picked up a match win at the moment. So, the next week coming up, we should start seeing that kind of change up with Abusement Park and Revive Esports actually going at each other. We'll kind of highlight that a little bit more later, but for sure, Heroic Division definitely has three very dominant teams, ones that you could probably expect to be at the top of the division this time around. Moving into A.
Yeah, because you also had A. So
I also handled the A. We have Queen's Consorts still at the top.
Yep.
Thick Mama White Mane, PFM, Ferrets, and then Nobo Esprouts all also picked up, and the Nobo versus Gimme the D Shield matchup from yesterday was fantastic. It went 2-1, so there wasn't a domination in that setup, but it was very, very, very close, and some just fantastic games. They had some great plays. If you haven't watched that, for sure, not only is a Thursday night showdown just a wonderful production, kind of put on by us and a lot of the other rest of the members of the community,
right,
but it's also what ended up being just fantastic games, totally worth watching.
Very nice. Div B, what should we be looking for?
Over on B East, the Beast division, right now, Gilly Shark has kind of that whole division in a chokehold. They are undefeated, haven't dropped a map in 3 games, 3 dominations so far. Hot on their heels, though, are the Minion Miners, who I believe have 2 dominations and 1 by default because of the Tiny Dancers drop from the division, giving everyone some extra points there.
Got it.
Over on the Wild B West, only one team remains undefeated at this point, those being the Virtual Murky Slayers, your personal favorite turd, logo alone.
Yeah, oh yeah. I'm still pulling for him.
After that, it's kind of... There's a lot of interesting things going on in B West. Obviously, that's my own division and Ziltoid's division, so we're very invested in how it goes, but a lot of teams kind of vying for those top couple spots there.
Oh yeah, that looks like it's very tight kind of grouping right there. So, go ahead. Sorry.
I was just gonna say, yeah, a lot of 2-1s, a lot of teams beating one team, losing to another, making some weird. It's gonna be interesting to see how that all plays out.
Now, VuDu, have you taken a look at Division C?
Not as much as you'd like me to.
It's all good. You're a guest panelist. Well, so I'm just looking at it. I see Calculated Throw on top.
Mm-hmm.
So we've already mentioned them because of the Calculated Smash League. And then behind them, it looks like UARC and then Winky Face. And actually almost Legends too. So another division like really close. I mean, it is week 2, round 2.
A lot of games to go.
A lot of games to go. A lot of season left. So it's probably still anyone's season for all of these divisions. What about VuDu? What about Division C West?
C West.
Well, it looks like Dive Hard's on top there.
Yep.
But then there's like a 3-way tie at the moment for second, with Dat Task though, Can't Counterpick Stupid and Plug Walk. Is that right?
Yep.
Hmm.
So I mean, another super tight division there, which is kind of awesome. Div C might be pretty interesting this season.
Interesting to note, both Counterpick Stupid and Plug Walk have one less game played than the other top two teams, so there's a chance for both of them to kind of rise above Dat Test, though, and dive hard.
True.
It's going to be a good one. Anything... oh, I guess Division D. Almost forgot. The only undefeated team out of Division East, Division D East, is Nexus Cats.
Cats represent.
We're doing okay, 2 for 2. And then Division D West, a couple returning teams. We have Clouded Minds, that's Weenus's team, and then Pigeon Stitches. They were a top contender over in Division E last season, so exciting to see them. But taking a look at the standings, right in Division D East, right on the tails of Nexus Cats is Frank's Furters. And following behind them is 2 Calculated 2 Throw, who actually took the loss from Nexus Cats earlier this week. Division D West.
Can I make a note about Frankfurters?
Go ahead.
I'm really excited that they're in second place right now. Because traditionally, the old Furter crew has a bad start to every season. they are usually towards the bottom. I mean, there's lots of season left, but we'll see. Not to jinx you guys, but that is exciting.
If they're this strong this early, who knows how powerful they'll be at the end of the season. It's only a matter of time.
Exactly. And then over, and actually on that topic, in Division D, I think, so I did these stats right before recording. Most takedowns, Frank's Furters has 93. Nexus Cats in second place has 75. So almost 20 more takedowns in their games than the second place team. So maybe it is Frank's Furters division to lose. You know, they're doing a great job out there. So definitely something we're going to talk about a little bit later. And then Division D West, Clouded, like I said, Cloud Mines, Pigeon Stitches, and then Asmo Carey taking up the third spot. Looks like they got a win, but it took them 3 games to do it. So they're all really close. So definitely really, really good stuff there.
Seems like seeding went well this season.
Yeah, I mean, I think if I was in charge of seeding, I think I'd be very proud of what happened, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Or what's going on so far. So let's talk about early on, do we have any specific hero trends across all divisions that were kind of interesting, what we're looking at? Whoa, why don't you start us out?
Yeah, I was going to say, I have one turd, and I hate it.
Uh-oh. What do you got?
So, for the life of me, I cannot understand the appeal of this hero. He came out, everyone said he was broken, I thought he was trash. Most of the stats proved he was trash, and yet here he is, sitting at like 10 or 11 games played, 100% win rate. Mr. Mal'Ganis, how are you doing it, sir? Sexy Squidward Mal'Ganis, man, I do not understand. Stop winning your games.
So maybe the tip is play Mal'Ganis.
Out of all of the 100 win rate or 100% win rate heroes, he's the one at the most games played. So
he's the only one with double digits, right?
He's the only one with double digits. Next closest is where is he? Kerrigan at 5 games and 100% win, but double digits for Sexy Squidward, man.
Stats don't lie, people. That's why we're here.
To see it.
Why do you think he's winning?
Me personally, I don't see the appeal of the hero. I don't think he does anything particularly well.
Mm-hmm. Do we know which division he's being played in, or?
I don't have. I would love to have those stats. I don't.
Yeah, no, I know you're looking at it on Stats of the Storm, and you don't have that necessarily readily available. So I apologize for throwing.
No, that's okay. But from what I've seen, the lower division teams tend to place a higher priority on him than the upper division teams. Mm-hmm. I think the teams at the higher divisions kind of messed around with him, saw that he wasn't really working out, and dropped him. Whereas he was kind of like a pub stomper upon release, so a lot of lower players or lower division players saw success with him.
Yeah.
I feel like his strengths lie where he has a lot of self-healing, some decent CC, and if he's not focused properly and CC'd properly himself, he can be very survivable and very disruptive to enemy teams. So perhaps in the divisions where focus fire and CC isn't kind of on the same page for all the teams, he can wreak havoc in those backlines and really keep himself up with just a little bit of support.
There you go. Now, I'm going to bring this up, and I'm going to throw it to you in a second, VuDu. The 100% win rate support in all of NGS is none other than Kerosene.
Well, naturally.
Yeah,
Right.
Naturally.
Naturally. I mean,
Those
I don't
are
know.
3 VuDu wins right there.
Yeah.
So
Had we not forfeit, I mean, it might be up to five wins.
Yeah.
So
So what about Kerosene do you think is putting him up there right now? It's only 3 games, so it's not a whole lot, but
I mean, I think he can contribute in terms of takedowns quite a bit more because of his ability to jump in and finish off kills.
Right.
So he's good at helping clean up fights, and his healing is still like pretty consistent. I think there's no point during a battle where his healing really drops off, or like I don't know what am I trying to say? I don't know, because he's a monk. That's why he's awesome. He can jump around. Come on.
So Ziltoy, do you agree? You're putting him in like some sort of like a team fighting composition so he can clean up the kills. Is that where you think you're going to see Kerosene?
Yeah, I mean he's all about aggression, right? So generally, how you see him build is Iron Fists and 7-sided strike. So he works really well with compositions that are great at isolating out almost any target and just kind of immediately blowing them up.
Yeah.
So like one of my favorite combinations is Garrosh Medivh, because you portal in, you huck somebody, and then basically he just blows them up.
Yeah.
You get the Garrosh stun, and by the time the stun is off, whoever he threw is pretty much dead.
There you
So
go.
anyone that uses them in that kind of manner, obviously 3 games shows that it's definitely not something that's being popular. It's more of a niche pick just on specific people running it in comps or who feel comfortable on it. But I can guarantee you, primarily that's the major reason why he's being taken is just to finish kills off. And I think you see him more in higher levels of play than you will in lower levels of play, because he's kind of a touchy hero to pull off, I think.
No, I agree. I do not play Kerosene. My former team, they had a player that would play Kerosene. So if he was in there and I was not, you knew we were playing Kerosene. Now,
I think we should highlight probably in the support pool, like
that's what I was going to do.
One of the highest amount of games played with the highest win rate is actually Stukov.
Yeah.
So he's kind of seen a reemergence back into the meta, and it's probably worth a discussion to kind of isolate why. And I'll defer that probably to the support mains here on the stream, Warno and yourself.
Well, so let me jump in here real quick. So Stukov currently has 37 games played, 24 wins. That comes out to 64.9% win rate. So if you're going to play Stukov, you're about 2 out of 3 times going to win that game. That's a win. That's a win for a series. So Stukov, Wono, break it down. Why is he so popular?
That's a good question, honestly. He's tied for top popularity with Tyrande, but is sporting not 12%, I can't do math, an 8% higher win rate than her, which is pretty impressive considering Tyrande has been top dog at the support since her rework.
Yeah, everyone's saying Tyrande and Eddie.
Yeah, and Tyrande and Stukov's seen kind of a drop-off since he's seen some changes and some other supports have come into meta. That being said, his lurking arm silence is still an incredibly powerful tool.
Right.
He has good in-combat sustain, decent burst on a semi-long cooldown. He can keep his entire team topped off through a combo or so. But I think really, kind of like Deckard, his main strengths lie in his ability to CC and help his team in that regard. So the slows, the silences, and both of his ults are really strong for kind of swinging team fights in your favor or just completely disengaging from a poor team fight.
Absolutely. And is it safe to say that the resistance with Deckard Payne is losing?
Honestly, Deckard's sitting at a solid 60% win rate across 20 games so far, so I don't think he took as much of a hit as maybe people anticipated, as much as I anticipated, or people are just finding new and creative ways to make him work.
I mean, his CC is still very powerful.
As strong as ever. That's why you're drafting him, is 100% for his slows and his root combos. It's just his healing's a little touchy.
This show that is not a support.
Yeah, we can move on to something else.
In case there's other roles that people play.
There are other roles.
So looking at the assassins, 100% win rate with Kerrigan, 5 games. So that's hopefully those games weren't being played when her when she was banned.
Okay, now I mean this is about as useful as talking about the Butcher's 100% win rate with 3 bans and 1 win. So you know what I mean? When we're talking about like sub 10 games and whatever the case is, it's kind of like
you got to be pretty careful about drawing any conclusions.
Yeah, it's straight up a lot more to do with just niche picks and specific players that tend to be powerful on it. That's why we also have a 1 game 1 ban Nova 100% win rate. I mean, obviously she's OP.
On that point, moving down, we got Zeratul. 63.6%. That's insane to me.
I mean, this shouldn't be a surprise to anyone. I mean, Zeratul has been ever since the change to the to everything. Even since post his nerf. I mean, a 10% nerf to Void Slash just is not going to do enough to remove that. And I don't think Blizzard wants to remove that playstyle because there's plenty of ways to get advantages over Zeratul before that. But the problem is, of course, Void Prison. So when you start kind of putting together his whole kit, Zeratul does everything. He wave clears really well. He ganks really well. He sets up team fights with Void Prison with initiation very well. And, and he wins team fights post 16 with Void Slash. So, I mean, just at this point, he already has 32 bans. If this number does not start increasing by the end of the season, I'm going to be very sad because he's just a powerful hero that really, really needs to be banned out. If the enemy team plays Zeratul, they have a Zeratul player, even if they're, not even the best Zeratul player, they're always going to apply that pressure to you. So it's definitely one of those heroes that truly needs to be considered in almost every single draft.
I was going to say, the only surprise coming from Zeratul's statistics to me is just how many games he's actually been let through so far.
Right?
Obviously, he's doing well.
It's almost as many as he's been banned.
Yeah.
Or a little bit more. But
yeah.
Ban him more. He's obviously putting in work, guys. Just don't ban Ziltoids.
Yeah, leave mine alone. Okay. And then, of course, going down the list, if you're going to be looking at other assassins to kind of point out, the strongest mage in the game right now is Jaina. I don't think that's changed.
Right.
She just has everything. She's got a great scaling curve. She's got the burst combo. She can 1-0 anyone in the game. Just straight up kills anyone in the game if she's given the room to do so. And I mean, her games played is 47. I mean, isn't that basically the highest? Yeah, it's tied for the highest.
Highest out of Assassins or highest overall?
No, I don't know about overall, but in Assassins, it's Jaina and Reyna are the highest picked.
Yeah,
period.
Just eclipsed by Johanna as total games for all roles.
Now, VuDu, is Jaina one of the mages that you play when you flex off of support?
Definitely. I think my best mage is probably Li Ming, but then Jaina is in a better place right now than Li Ming.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
but I don't know.
We want to talk about Li Ming, 37.5% win rate over 24 games. He just has not been doing it this season at all. No. It just hasn't seemed to be coming across. Now, keep in mind that a lot of these stats aren't completely updated with everything that's happened this week. Like, if we're going to talk about Genji's win rate being 0% and 12.9%, that's terrible. But we also I've seen some good games on it. Slip had a fantastic game on it on Slub Gaming's matchup. So, definitely.
Last week we had the play of the week was Fun Buns on Genji doing the X-Strike.
Absolutely. That was not an NGS game, a Div-S game over at the Heroes Lounge, but still we included
that's why that's
still what that's why the win rate's currently showing is 0, even though it's not really.
Yeah. Anything else to look at here that worth talking about, boys?
Orphea, again, new hero to the meta, so it's definitely worthwhile taking a look at. She's sitting in a nice, healthy 51.5% win rate. She's got 33 games, 21 bans, so she's definitely being contested. Her popularity is high. It's clearly, basically, like, if you're looking at number 1 mage, it's Jaina. Number 2 mage is pretty much obviously Orphea in that list. And, quickly followed up by Gul'dan with a slightly higher win rate and a slightly lower pick rate. So we've got a decent mage meta at the moment, and I think Orphea definitely is one of those that, when played by a really good player, really shines through, and we'll see that later on in the stream for sure.
There we go. Any final thoughts, VuDu, on these heroes?
Oh, just thinking about Orphea. I've been like solely playing her the last week and a half in like all game modes.
We're going to see some Nexus turds on Orphea.
She is so much fun to play. But every time I try to play her in ranked, I lose. Every time I play her unranked, win. So I don't know what's going on. My ranked season is terrible, so that probably just says more about me. I think she's great.
It's good stuff. Speaking of Orphea, this is going to be a good segue, I promise. Just let me get there. Streamer of the week. It is our man Btrain.
Gonna take him to tap dance class and show him how to move. We do have Warlord's taunt challenge coming through. Excuse me, a zombie going through, getting the humongous 3-man 8-pack against the wall too. Instantly evaporate, killing the Lord of the Forest. Malfurion, sit down. The Druids have been gone for a minute. Arthanol eating the living bomb, but instantly in the blink of an eye, trading 4 lives for none. They couldn't even use ultimates that they were locking in.
And I say, speaking of Orphea, because he has a very interesting name for Orphea. I believe he calls her Coffin something. So go ahead and check out his stream if you're interested in finding out exactly what he calls Orphea. But he is the first person this season to get elevated to the role of caster in Season 6. So congratulations to him. I don't know if any of you guys have caught his streams. They are fantastic. This man, Blizzard, hire this man, please, and all the other pros, but this man specifically too, because his calling ability in team fights is just unreal. I think it was BMed called him an auctioneer.
Yeah, he's getting Rap God, he's getting Auctioneer, he's getting...
It's
pretty good.
I didn't believe it, and then I checked it out for the Nexus Cats, and it was fantastic. It's like he doesn't even miss a single skill that's being cast. It's incredible. So guys, check out his cast. He's a co-caster, he's a caster. He is doing work in NGS. Up-and-coming streamer for sure. Check him out, please. That is the Nexus Edge Streamer of the Week, Community Member of the Week, doing some really, really, really good work. So, have any of you guys seen his casts?
Yeah, I've been caught him with Murda a couple times. They make a really good pair, the two of them.
Oh yeah, because Murda has that ability to kind of speak really quickly, but also like enunciate. Just really good. VuDu, did you see any of his cast yet?
Not yet, but I'm super intrigued. Like I'm gonna probably go watch one after this.
It's really good.
He's done a lot of them. If anything else, the work he's put in, just in the amount of casting and co-casting that he's been able to do this past couple weeks is immense. Like he's done a lot. So there's lots of sources to watch through, and you'll see like when he gets into those team fight calls, like he doesn't miss a single thing. Yeah, and it's all articulated. You can hear every word, and it's not all jumbled together like it would be with me. People will experience that when I finally get casting, but yeah, for sure, that guy has a talent for it, and it should definitely be encouraged.
Yeah, I'm terrible with names. Even like my top played heroes, some of their abilities and talents, no idea. Just it's W, you know?
Yeah.
So for him to be able to do that, that's
Li Ming throwing her W out there.
Yeah.
It's doing the damage.
That's about as far as I know. I'm going to be honest. Does Li Ming have abilities? She just throws out the ball thing and the laser
spinny
thing.
One and the
magic missiles. That's all. That's the only one I know.
Yeah. All right, guys. So to close that one out, I recommend everyone. We all recommend that everyone check out his casts. Keep an eye out for his streams going forward. We're going to have a link below to his stream. Keep an eye on the NGS website in the calendar to see any of his games. And if you're available, click that link. Check it out. All right, guys. Now we're going to be moving into what I think is one of the favorite topics and favorite segments of the fans here. The top 5 highlights chosen by us. So we are going to start it out at number 5 with what we're calling Rexxar Benny Hill. What'd you guys think?
Amusing.
Yeah.
Amusing's a good word for it.
There's probably no question who picked this one out. That was me.
Tunnel vision for the
Yeah.
win, or the loss in this situation.
But as we were pointing out, this is the music just lines up quite perfectly with the kill there. So good work.
Oh, yeah.
That was Mystic. Mystic came up with that one. I thought it was pretty funny, so it's going to make its way into the show. Number 4, we have Grogman Murky Lord. Show us the clip.
Cassette. I'm surprised he's holding it because it does do a little bit during this siege, but doesn't really need it. Finally, he's going to throw it out anyway. Oh, and Phoenix took the brunt of every single one of those little tiny fish being thrown at his face. Second.
Deckard. See ya, Deckard.
Wow, Deckard completely.
Grogman for MVP.
I mean, look at this. Black Lagoon at level 7 helps with the slows. And then, of course, Slime Time at level 1, not even quite done yet. Gets his first reward there. Pufferfish! What? What? Sarah, not like this. Oh, no.
Not like this, guys. Not like this.
My favorite is the little murky kill with the pufferfish, like right at the end there.
Yeah.
That is the best part. Once he
Dies and then manages to get the kill right at the end there. It's awesome.
Yeah.
So shout out to Grogman. He's a Division D cohort of ours and good guy. So nice work on the murky. All right, moving on to number 3. It is Virtuoso Save. Show the clip.
Like, there's nothing to do right now on this map. They're deciding to push with it.
Yeah, they are. Here's the upheaval, and quickly into the fray saves Ragnarok. Tychus will live. What a play by Virtuoso. Not his first play of the game. That's like his 4th sweet play of this game.
VuDu, this was your pick. What'd you think?
The timing of it is unbelievable. Like, I would never be able to do that. I'd be throwing minions left, right, and center. So that is.
No, I would have thrown him into the choke ball.
50% skill, 50% desperation.
Yeah.
But that
All
was
comes together. 100% awesome.
That was 100% Virtuoso being incredible because that was a save and a half. So
Yeah.
He was great that whole series, actually. Like straight up, like a lot. He made a lot of plays for that for his team. It's actually one of the major reasons that Nobo came out ahead in that matchup was for sure Virtuoso's play from start to finish.
Absolutely.
It's just one of those little plays that, like, if you're watching the game live, you might not even catch it, but watching it back, just his like super quick reaction time is so impressive on that.
Yeah. Like I said, I couldn't. It's probably why I'm in Division D, but I could not have made that save. All right. Moving on to number 2, we have Avoid Prism, Ring of Frost, Fiesta.
Right on top of him, also in this vent, Darvo and Mudge. There's the VP on 3. Jaina waiting, there it goes, releases the VP, damage coming out with a Blizzard. 1, 2, silence there for 3. Also in the silence is Cassia. See you later. Gonna be a quad kill for PFM as this is looking like lights out, objective in their hands and just 2 more %. And with 4 down, likely gonna be game here on Bull Sky Fountain.
Pure freaking magic.
Lands the Void Prism, lands the Ring of Frost, destruction.
You love to see quad kills off of that for sure. Like, you know, I love Zeratul, so I had to find that clip, and that one was definitely one of the best ones that stood out to me. I actually watched that. You know, I think I watched that game live too as well, and so it was pretty cool to watch when they pulled it out. More of those plays, please.
Well, and the first time I watched it, my jaw was just like,
Who doesn't love watching a good everyone press R to win the team fight?
Hey, it's harder than it looks. It's harder than it looks.
Speaking of some top-notch plays and things that look very hard and very difficult, we got our number 1. It's going to be Blizzard. Please nerf Rexba. Show the clip.
Junkrat's trying to make things happen. The catapults are on the shield. Trainer. Crushing jaws. Finish off Junkrat. Rexpa with the blaze.
Oh my God!
Clip
this!
Rexpa.
No! No! Oh my God! Rexpa just went like from 0 to Pog in 2 seconds, turning on Junkrat there. That was insane. I mean, he loses his life at the end of it. If he got the triple kill, that might have been play of the season. We'll see what Nexus Edge has to say about that, making the top 5 of the week.
I mean, there's not much you could say. That is some top level play. Whoa, what do you got for us?
We kind of talked about Orphea a little bit earlier, saying she's one of those heroes, new to the Nexus, pretty stable, solid win rate. But in the hands of a player like Rexpa, it really makes you wonder how she doesn't have a higher win rate, and teams are really going to have to start looking at her as a specific target ban against Rexpa, because even though he couldn't quite finish off the Arthas to get that 3rd kill, his play was impeccable that game. The whole game through, too, not just that clip.
And like I said, he gets his revenge. I didn't get this clip. There was the other one that went missing on me. But this fight ends up setting them up for their fight over the Bruiser Camp area, and ends up winning them the game. And again, he ends up getting 2 kills and sets up a 3rd one off of that. The same, very much in the same manner, in more of a 5v5 team fight. So I wish I had that clip too, as well, to kind of add in here. But all I can say is, if you haven't watched the games, go watch them. Thursday Night Showdown from this week was fantastic, and I can't illustrate enough. If we get more games like this, like Thursday Night Showdown is just going to be epic to watch every week.
Must watch TV
for sure, 100%.
Yeah. And I mean, just half the thing is just Murda's energy. Just he's basically saying what I'm feeling right here. Just alrighty, guys. Let's go ahead and move on to our fun segment of the week. What we're gonna call Winner Winner Chicken Dinner Draft Battle. It's gonna be a fun time. So the way this is gonna work, I'm gonna show you and the viewers a composition, so 2 teams, a composition for each team, obviously, as it goes. It's a draft, and your goal, your objective, is to guess which team won the game. And you can see the map too. So it seems pretty clear. Everyone understand the rules?
Yep.
Got some thumbs up, got some head nods. I'm good to go. All right, so let's start with this first one here. So on one team, it's Calculated Throw versus Team Rectum. So, Warno, who's... Yeah, I know. The first time I saw it.
Come on, guys.
It happens every time. Every time.
Yes,
it's not
you
the
had
first
me on
time.
Rectum.
It's literally every time.
I want to... It was by design. They know what they were doing. So, wins it? Is it Team Rectum? Or is it Calculated Throw?
You want me reading out the comps here and kind of giving some background, or...?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So, maps it's Alterac Pass. Calculated Throw has a Li Ming, a Nubarak, an Alarak, an ETC, and a Whitemane, going up against Team Rectum's Junkrat, Tyrande, Orphea, Garrosh, and Zarya. And I am tempted to give this one to Team Rectum, not because of the name, but sadly, but just looking at the 2 comps and knowing the map, Alterac, 3 big, wide lanes, Team Rectum's macro capabilities in that comp just look a lot stronger to me than Calculated Throws. Granted, Calculated Throw, Li Ming has a lot of stall on this map with those cheeky orbs and missiles over the walls, but Junkrat does the same for Team Rectum, spaced properly, and I give it to them based on macro play alone, I think.
Tiltoid?
Obviously, I'll take the other side, because this wouldn't be fun if,
If you all
I
want
was
to
picking the same one every single time. So, yeah.
Any other reasoning besides that, or is that it?
Just devil's advocate.
That's it. Yeah, there we go. That's all we need.
You're killing me. VuDu, what do you
Expert
got?
analysis. Dun dun dun.
I'm gonna side with Wono and go with Team Rectum as well.
Hey! Traitor.
Just
Any
because-
other... Yeah, go ahead.
Well, he said Junkrat for stalling on the objective, but I mean Tyrande as well.
Yeah.
I think. Well, and
This
Zarya.
is
you know,
Even
Alberta
Zarya,
versus
yeah.
BC Pride,
They're all-
and you
they're
are
very-
joining the wrong side, my friend.
They're kind of. Sorry. That's just just based on the team. That's the way I gotta go.
And that's all we got.
So, yeah.
And the winner is... It's Ziltoid, for no reason at all. Calculated Throw pulls it off in the end. So
You just know. You just know that I just have the expert, high-level.
Well, that's
analysis.
kind of what the fun part is here. You know, we have...
I don't even have the analysis.
Yeah.
You know, Considering we said they were undefeated earlier in the show today, we really should have seen this one coming. But
Yeah, there's some things that you guys should see.
Just peanut gallery.
It wouldn't be fun if you really thought about it. You know what I mean? So, all right. So let's get on to this second matchup: Almost Legends versus House of Ches. For Almost Legends, we have Joanna, Rhaegar, Abathur, Thrall, and Falstead. And on the side of House of Ches, Gul'dan, Oriel, Leoric, Anubarak, and Ragnaros. So, is the Rhaegar Abathur combo going to pull it off here, or is it going to be the Leoric Oriel?
What map is this again?
This
Cursed
is
Hollow.
on
Can't
Cursed
see it.
Hollow.
Cursed Hollow. Okay.
So
Do I
Zilto,
start
who
this time? I'll
Yeah,
start
go
this
ahead.
time. Okay, I'm going to take the Abathur comp because he's OP on Cursed Hollow, obviously.
Yeah, but it's Abathur without an Illidan.
But you don't need it. You got Falstad. I mean, and Rhaegar. Rhaegar's the new Illidan nowadays, right?
So I want to say we lost last season, Season 5, in the playoffs on Cursed Hollow with a Rhaegar Abathur comp.
Nice.
Is that going to happen here, VuDu?
No, that's not gonna happen here.
Abathur Rhaegar is going to pull it off.
I think so. I've been liking the way Abathur's been playing recently,
Okay.
and I gotta make up for going against Ziltoid last round. So
That's right. We're going to lose now because of it, though.
Well, what about Ragnaros and his Wave of Fire?
No,
No? Not going to do it? Won't know.
just no.
Just no.
I mean, you could potentially kill him with Lava Wave, bye
There you go.
Abathur if he's not paying attention, so
That's true.
I guess there's that.
well, I love me an Abacomp. I love the double global pressure with the Falstad there. But for the sake of it, House of Ches, Lava Boy Ragnaros, I'm going for you boys.
You guys, you just... Wono got it right. It was House of Ches.
Of course it was!
Because why not?
Because we're the first ones to pick one, right?
Nexus Edge
And we're
is
like,
hiring
here's
new
all the
analysts
good reasons
that will
on why
actually-
it should win. And it's, of course, Lava Wave Ragnaros killing Abathur in some lane that's probably the reason that we win.
But as I was saying, Nexus Edge is hiring analysts who will actually analyze. Just go ahead, drop your application.
I analyzed! I don't know what you're talking about here.
Both times you weren't analyzing, you guys win. What is...
Right. Exactly.
All right.
If I don't analyze, it's all good. If I analyze,
go.
then
All right,
Game
getting
over.
into the third one here, we have Backbone AI versus Frank's Furters. So this is out of Division D East. It's Imperius, Genji, Gul'dan, Diablo, Oriel versus ETC, Dahaka, Raynar, Lucio, and Li Ming. So who wins it for us, VuDu?
This is Tomb of the Spider Queen. Is that
That's Tomb of the Spider Queen.
Team
Yep.
Spider Queen.
right? Okay. I mean, I wish I hadn't talked so much about Frank's Furters earlier, but I'm
Yeah.
thinking only because I like Dahaka, I'm gonna go with Frank's Furters.
There you
Yeah.
go.
Yeah.
Wono?
I'm gonna go the other way and give it to the boys at Backbone AI. Gul'dan Ariel, real classic comp, really solid wave clear and web weaver clear, and Dahaka's not the worst on this map, but it's not his best map either. And Frank's Furters overall is just kind of lacking some wave clear with the Li Ming Rainer combo.
There you go. And Ziltoid.
you can't catch me agreeing with my captain on anything. So I'm clearly going to go with the other side. But if we want real analysis, while Dahaka is not ideal necessarily on Tomb of the Spider Queen, he does help them make up the wave clear difference between or against the Gul'dan composition.
Right.
And on top of that, he counters some of the mobility issue, or he adds to the mobility issues for Gul'dan. So as long as Dahaka is throwing tongues onto that hero and pulling them into waves and killing them off, then I honestly think that's enough to actually save it. And Ariel doesn't have all that many tools to deal with that kind of aggression. So I'm definitely going to give it to Frank's Furters.
Slappy slap.
Look, real analysis.
Yeah.
Her whip,
Was that right?
she's got her noodle whip, she's got her
Noodle whip.
crystal aegis.
Yeah.
She's got some things.
I mean, if those all get burnt out, though,
Yeah.
the cooldown differences between his tongues, and especially with this base attack reset, I don't know if what she has is enough to
Right.
deal with that kind of pressure from the Dahaka.
And I'm going to have to agree with Ziltoid. I know the answer.
Yeah, of course.
I'm gonna have to agree with Ziltoid because I know Frankfurter won their matchup, so I'm assuming they won here, and it's also the answer. So Frankfurter's won this match. Ziltoid's winning points. Now let's go into this next one here. It is out of Heroic. This is Modo on Tarand, Hanzo, Valera, Joanna, Urel versus Insomnia with Imperius, Garage, Zeratul, Ana, Jaina. Who's gonna win it? Won't know.
Well, as much as I have a soft spot for Valera in my heart, I do believe Insomnia takes this one. Taunt, VP, Ring of Frost, just too many ways to CC a whole team and lock them down. Ana's so strong right now. Zeratul's so strong right now. Jaina top mage right now. I just really don't see how this draft goes wrong.
There you go. Ziltoid.
Damn it, I have to agree. And it's sad because this is like at this point, if you look at Insomnia's draft, it has all the tools that I generally like to see. Zeratul, Jaina combination, Garrosh, Imperius is great in the off lane. You've got wave clear, you've got everything you need to really kind of make this happen. But Valera shuts down so much of what they can do. And then Hanzo is right now probably one of my favorite, like if you're looking for like a range damage carry, he takes a little while to ramp up, but he's actually very strong. So like, I think that they've got enough to deal with any aggression and any stuff that Zeratul can throw out. And I'm going to go ahead with giving Moto the win on this one.
Yeah. And this is on Volskaya. So VuDu, anything different?
No, I mean, we talked about all those heroes earlier, so I think like I'm gonna have to decide. We'll all jump. Everybody on red.
Everyone on Insomnia?
Yeah,
Well, that's good.
We're going all on.
So, so I don't even know what the score is right now. Ziltoid's probably winning.
I'm 2-2.
You're
I'm
2-2?
doing okay.
Ziltoid, I think, is 3-1. VuDu, I think you're 3-1 because you've been siding with Ziltoid, right? Or are you 2-2?
No, I'm 2-2.
Got it. All right. So
he sided against me. He sided against me the one time, and that's cost me.
Cost me. Yeah.
All right. So this is for all the marbles. This is a 16-minute game on Tomb of the Spider Queen. Out of Division A, we have Lion Speed with ETC, Tassadar, Uther, Vala, and Oriel. Yes, that's a triple support comp. And it's against Division A Dread Pirates, Ana, Diablo, Varian, Maeve, and Cassia. Who takes it?
So I will start this one off by saying I watched this game and I therefore do not want to spoil anything. That being said, I think this is NGS's first look this season at a triple support comp, which is pretty interesting.
It's the one and only triple support comp. So, Ziltoid, why don't you give it, and then we'll let Wodo finish.
Ah, man. That's a hard one for me. I like Dread Pirates draft. I'm not sold on triple support.
I mean, when you look at the draft, you just as far as the meta goes, you want to go against this triple support.
You definitely do. So, I'm going to go against and stick with my Dread Pirates pals there and say that they pull out the win. I'm sure it's wrong just because it's a unique triple support draft and, you know, I decided to say against it, but I imagine that's the case. Although I will say lots of CC, you know, and how do you kill Vala with that many supports? It gets a little difficult, but I'm still going to pick Dread Pirates.
She's still pretty squishy, though. So, VuDu, is it going to be the triple support or is it Dread Pirates?
I mean, I think with all the supports we got here in the room here, you know, I think I got to side with the supports, right?
Big support energy.
Yeah, big support energy. So we have VuDu on Lion Speed.
with Lion Speed, yeah.
There we go. Ziltoid on Dread Pirates. Wono on Lion Speed?
On the Lion Speed because they won.
Yeah. That's exactly right.
Ziltoid.
Lion Speed is the winner. So actually, with that question, everyone is tied.
I went with my heart there. I had to.
Yeah.
Of course, as usual, it got broken.
It backfires against you. It's okay.
Dread Pirates, they had a strong early start, and just after tens came online, they kind of struggled into the triple support.
If you're not used to playing into it, like that can be a big factor in games too as well. Even if their comp should win, technically, if you're not really used to kind of that setup and you don't really know how to play around that kind of stuff like that, it can really get you in draft, and that's where niche comps like this really become powerful.
Oh yeah.
Whether it can be sustained where you can just triple support every single game after the fact, I would say that's kind of iffy. Yeah. But for sure, in this particular instance, it probably caught them by surprise, and they just didn't really know how to handle it.
Well, so let's talk about the triple support a little bit here. So it's Uther, Oriel, Tassadar. So it's probably what? Uther is going to be the burst heal, Oriel is going to be the sustained heal, or how's this working?
Yeah, so
it's kind of weird.
Basically.
Both Ariel Vala and Tassadar Vala are like very classic combos. Notably, Vala is a great battery, probably near the top for Ariel. So as long as Vala's hitting things, and with all this support and this protection, she really should be able to keep hitting things. She's providing near constant full energy bars for Ariel every 4 seconds to just pump out crazy team-wide healing. Uther's there to drop hammers, to give a little bit of burst healing anyone who comes too close. And he actually did go Divine Storm this game, so there was even more lockdown once there was an ETC slide, Divine Storm, Hammer of Justice, Rain of Vengeance from Vala. It was crazy amounts of CC. And then Tassadar is just there to shore up a little bit of wave clear, give some shields, a little bit of lifesteal for Vala, and actually big teamfight damage with Archon.
Did he go Archon in this game?
He did go Archon.
He'd have to, I think, in a lot of situations, to be able to kill the other enemy team what they had.
To get the extra DPS out of there.
That and force wall into an enemy Diablo is just like asking for your team, griefing your team.
All right, VuDu, any thoughts on the triple sport here?
No, I think these guys summed it up pretty well. Just with all the, the balance of sustain and burst healing, plus the lockdown is kind of crazy. So
I will say Maiev had a particularly rough time. Anytime she attempted to go in to get a tether, it was stun, dead.
Yeah.
Wow.
Stun, yeah. There's just too many. What do you do?
So if you're interested to watch the triple sport match, go ahead and take a look at the replay. Sounds like it was interesting at the very least, right?
It was a good game, interesting to watch, interesting to see how the triple support dynamic played out.
All right, now moving into our final segment of the night, it's our matchups to watch. Ziltoid, why don't you start us off with some matches to watch?
Heroic Division, Abusement Park versus Revive Esports is the big match to watch next week. Probably the best match so far in Heroic Division coming up.
That's coming out on Monday, right?
Yeah, for sure. Celeb Gaming, I kind of expect them to be able to beat any of these teams in this division. So, it'll be a big upset if they lose, but for sure, I kind of expect it. And if you watched any of the last games, like last night's game, it's pretty clear. When it comes down to Abusement Park and Revive, both these teams are very good. And I don't think there's a clear winner between these two when they go up against each other. It should be very, very close. I would hope to see the series go 2-1. It could go either way because both of them have lots of flexibility in drafts, lots of good playmakers on their team, and it could kind of slide either way. But definitely don't miss it. It should be a really, really good match to watch up. And I think Murda is going to be casting that one. So great casting, great, all the setup. Monday is a good night to start. So get on to that one for sure. And in A division, the big one I would say coming up is Queen's Consorts versus Dread Pirates.
Okay.
These two teams also faced off, I think, in Heroes Lounge playoffs.
I think that's correct, yeah.
And so, Dread Pirates is a solid team. They've got lots of good talent there. Great drafts, great players. And then Queen's Consorts, we've already seen, should be with the, if not the top, is one of the top powerhouses in Div A. So these two teams are definitely going to be playoff teams. So this will be a nice preview to see what we should expect out of Div A. Don't miss it. This will be a good match for sure.
And we also have out of Div A, we have Nobo Esprouts versus Thick Mama White Mane Hots. And that was my pick, was the Thick Mama White Mane Hots. And they're 2-0 right now, right?
Well, yeah. Now it was a
Both of them, right?
2-1 victory against Give Me the D Shield again. Go watch that matchup.
Right.
Super
Nobo,
super
right.
close between those. But if there's any takeaways from Nobo, they've got a really good handle on what they like to play, and their
Yeah.
macro is impeccable. Like they really have to go up against better teams to be outshined in that setup. So that'll be a very close matchup to watch for sure.
Perfect. Whoa, no. What do you got for us in Div C West?
Out of Div C West, the game to watch this week is Can't Counterpick Stupid versus Dive Hard. That game is taking place on Tuesday, I believe, here, and has yet to be picked up by a caster. So any casters looking for a match to pick up on Tuesday, that looks like a good one. Dive Hard is currently sporting a map 6 wins, 1 loss, whereas Can't Counterpick Stupid is 4-0. So 2 teams near the top of the division. I've personally played and know some of the people on Can't Counterpick Stupid. Solid team. Don't know too much about Dive Hard, but obviously they're taking C West by storm so far. So
yeah,
looking forward to seeing how that match turns out.
And I will round it out here with our final matchup to watch. And I saw Wono rolling his eyes because he knows where this is going. Frankfurters versus Nexus Cats.
Oh no, I had no idea that was coming.
Yeah, I mean,
jokes aside, that should be a good match.
No, it's absolutely going to be probably one of the top Div D games to watch this season.
Well, and like I said earlier, we got the 1 and 2 for takedowns. Frankfurters is starting out strong, as VuDu pointed out. It's going to be a good match.
It's going to be macro versus team fight, like straight up.
Oh yeah,
I guarantee that's going to be what this matchup is. So Nexus Cats, if they get nice big maps where they can kind of play out for the mid-late game, I think might have a good chance. Anywhere where Frankfurters can force brawls is going to be pretty scary. So good luck.
Tune in to find out. Yeah. Alrighty, any other matches to watch this week?
I'm sure there's plenty.
Who's Logical Decision playing? We'll end with that one.
Oh, good job, Ziltoid.
I did remember.
He remembers.
Very nice. Alrighty, everyone. I would like that's gonna wrap it up for us today. So I would like to thank all of our panelists, Wono, Ziltoid, and our very special guest today, VuDu.
No worries. It was a lot of fun. Thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah. Thank you to the both of you.
Yeah.
Again, I want to do our shout out. We have the Calculated Smash League signups end March 15th. So if you're interested in that, go ahead, click the link below, and join the Discord. Another shout out I have, Valendrith, number 1. Without you and your Stats of the Storm, the show probably wouldn't happen.
Easily like 10 times harder our jobs become.
Yeah, I mean, I think all 4 of us have it open right now on the screen. So thank you very much for doing this. Thank you for keeping it updated. Thank you for updating it when we request. We really, 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 really appreciate it. Also, shout out to our research analysts, Key, BMed, Monkas, -40. Ziltoid's happy because I said proper grammar this time. And I also want to give a warm welcome to our newest research analysts, Ryokai, Himibo, Setet, and Chaotic Order. Apologize if I mispronounce those names, but without all of you guys, much like Stats of the Storm, this would be an extremely difficult job. So thank you. And thank you to our viewers, of course.
I got one more before we go.
One shout out from Wono.
One shout out to Zamil of Heroes Profile. He's just partnered with us here at the Nexus Gaming Series to bring us more statistics in a different setting. Really cool work he does there. Check him out, guys. It's LinkedIn announcements.
There you go. And it's also, if you go into your team settings, you can click the link and it'll take you right to your Heroes Profile stats for your team.
It's a great tool.
Really cool.
At least especially just for analyzing
your own team. And,
straight up, like it's separate. It's like HOTS, but it's specific to our competitive league. So fantastic tool. I'm really excited.
There you go. All right, guys. This is Turd Herder here saying adios, amigos. And remember to always stay safe in the Nexus and take your HOTS to the edge. Take care, guys. You're hurting my soul. You murdered me, Jason. I feel VuDu. Thank you so much
For the
staying.
bloopers, feel free to tell me off right now.
10:30 his time right now. I can tell
Blame
you that.
Jason. Definitely send Regen Blue his team hate mail.
Address it to Mongoose.
You're murdering me, man.
Like, how am I supposed to be enthused about it a third time? Yeah. Yeah, I started NGS. It's sweet. I'm glad it's done.
All right.
Can I stop now?
We can stop now. Yeah. All right, I'm gonna kick this one off to Whoa. All right.
Yep.
All right, ready? 3, 2. You and your thumbs up, man.
With the creepy smile.
Yeah. All right, guys. Let's move into our. I knew that was gonna happen.
I know.
Maybe it's sweet though, if like your mom came in and like was like, "Hey,
Yeah.
thanks for printing that off." That's the only way that could have been better.
Well, no, she did. Not my mom, my fiance. She opened it up, and there's a point when I looked back because the door creaked open a little bit.
Wait, your mom's your fiance? What's up with this?
It's the USA, man. We don't have rules.
Right?
This is freedom.
Damn America.